Hey folks, Quill18 here, and welcome to Why You Should Buy Keyforge, World Collides in 5 minutes or less, or often more. This video is going to come to you in two parts. The first part, we're going to talk about what Keyforge is. The second part is going to be talking about the Worlds Collide expansion and what it brings to the table. Keyforge itself is designed by the mad genius of board game and card game design, Richard Garfield. If you don't know that name, well, he's responsible for almost all of the major actual developments in card game design that's ever been. Like the idea of turning a card sideways to use it. Literally invented it, literally patented the idea way back when. Now, Keyforge is a card game, but it's not a collectible card game. If anything, it's a collectible deck game. The idea is every single deck of Keyforge is randomly and procedurally generated for you. They are mathematically guaranteed to be unique. No two Keyforge decks will ever be the same. It's truly astounding. There's trillions or quadrillions of different deck combinations, so there's no way that you or your friend will get the exact same deck, which is a lot of fun because they all play substantially different as well. There are 7 houses in Keyforge, well, 9 now with Worlds Collide, more on that in a second, and each deck carries cards from 3 different houses. There's such a large pool of cards that they play very, very differently. Your goal in the game is to be the first player who forges 3 keys. Keyforge, you get what's going on there. You forge keys by spending amber, and amber is generated by a huge variety of ways. Sometimes you get amber just by playing a card, sometimes you get amber because of what a card does. There are 3 different types of cards. There's actions that basically resolve right away, artifacts, which do a variety of things, but mostly linger around and have some sort of effect, and then creatures. And creatures are probably what you're going to be playing, or at least the most conscious of as you play. Creatures can fight other creatures, but they can also be turned sideways, exhausted to reap, which generates amber. So there's a whole sort of play around like kind of controlling the board so that you can generate amber and whatnot. But one of the biggest mechanics in this game that is just mind-boggling when you start off is the idea that your deck, which has 3 houses, each turn only one of those houses is active, and only cards from the active house can be played from your hand or used if they're already in play, which means that every turn in Keyforge, you are making an incredibly important decision. Which house am I going to activate this turn? And it just generates such incredible depth of gameplay that it is... Everyone in my gaming group was incredibly impressed. I just broke out these cards one night, and we just spent the entire night doing nothing but playing against each other, trying out different decks. We went through a bunch of different ones, and every time we'd open a new deck, it was this huge drama of like, what's this one going to play like? Because they do feel very differently. All right, now let's talk about Worlds Collide. Worlds Collide is the latest expansion for Keyforge. It is the 3rd one. It has a ton of new cards, and one of the crazy things about World Collide is they're introducing 2 new houses. Now, as with the previous 2 expansions, there are only 7 houses present within the expansions itself, but the 2 that have been removed, which I think is Sanctum and Mars, will apparently make a reappearance in future expansions. Instead, we get the Saurian Republic, which are sort of evolved dinosaurs that have sort of a Greco-Roman culture. Very cool. As well as the Grand Star Alliance, which is a very sci-fi, space-faring kind of group of people. So you can see right away, those are 2 pretty significant different flavors, and that includes the wildly different houses that were already included in Keyforge itself. Worlds Collide also comes with a bunch of new mechanics like Exalt, which is a new way to sort of generate amber, have a kind of a risk and reward kind of system. It shakes up the strategy of the game so much. There's Ward, which gives you the way to sort of defend your creatures a little bit more. Enrage a creature, which means it can only use the fight action, which is pretty substantial to be able to turn off the Reap or the ability to use an action ability on a creature by enraging it is pretty stupendous. There's Anomalies, there's Haunted. The other thing that's big in this expansion is cards in here that will be shifted from their correct house. There'll be cards that are normally part of one house, but will show up as an anomaly in Worlds Collide in a different house, which radically transforms the possibility, the different combinations and synergies that are possible in Keyforge. You'll also see cards that have been brought back from previous expansions, as well as weirdly cards that are from future expansions. It's a weird one, but I cannot say enough good things about Keyforge. Really had so much fun playing this with my friends. Keyforge is a game that's extremely easy to learn and very fast to play. Despite the fact that it has an incredible depth and breadth of strategy, the actual rulebook for this game is remarkably simple. It's the massive amount of interactions that occur between the different houses and different cards that leads to the real sort of interesting tactical and strategic decisions that you have to make. It's not because it has an overwhelming amount of arcane rules. And I think that's really the strength of Keyforge. And I really, really do recommend this title a lot. We had so much fun with this with my friends when I dropped this on our table, and we just played all night nonstop, and then we're like, well, next week we're doing the same thing again, right? Exactly. Every time you switch decks, it's a completely new experience. Really, really enjoy it. Thanks for watching. See you next time, folks. Bye-bye.